Oh, goddamn! And I've just dropped the bloody ratchet. Right, what I'm about to do is I'm about to pull the AWD Quattro in, and we're going to get it up on the ramp and start removing the subframe, the rear diff, the fuel tank. I am hoping to drop it all down in one. Should be fairly straightforward. I don't know about brake lines and handbrake and stuff like that, but we'll see how we get on. We're going to go full send with this, guys. We're going to pull the car in with the winch. I'm hoping that it's close enough to get the winch on. Worst case, I will just have to try and get the car a bit closer. It is really, really stiff to push. Now, I don't know if that's because it's Quattro, or maybe the brakes, the surface rust, stuff like that. There's no engine or gearbox in there, so realistically, it shouldn't be that hard to push. I bought it as a breaker for the four-wheel drive running gear. And unfortunately, the car wasn't in too much of a good condition to begin with, so there's not a lot of stuff that went from it. So did I even break even? No. Which is a bit sad, but it is what it is. I'm going to try and leave the wheels on just so that we have got a way of rolling the subframe and diff and stuff around. Shouldn't be a massive issue. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to transfer all the brakes and stuff over from the Golf. I'm going to have to do the coilovers and the shock absorbers anyway, because the stuff on this is absolutely dead. And right, what I have to do first of all, I'm going to have to move these, oh, by the looks of it, I already started unbolting it. Don't try this at home, what I'm about to do. You can end up seriously injured. So, FYI, if you do try this, just make sure that people are well away from the front of the car. I'm going to put the gearbox jack here, underneath, take the weight off of the rear, and then I'm going to move them arms to the point that the bolts are accessible. I've definitely started this because I've got rear shock absorbers. Rear shock absorbers are off. Most of the bolts for the front of the trailing arm are off. Front trailing arms are off. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. So by the looks of it, it's a couple of bolts. And if anything, the subframe bolts are loose as well. So yeah, let me get started on this. It's got Ali subframe. I thought some of these had steel subframes, but I'm clearly wrong. Right, so I'm going to take some of the weight off of this now. I did have the subframe loose already. Right, so this one's loose. Right. That one's repositioned. Another thing as well is when you're doing stuff like this, you need to make sure that the gearbox jack doesn't end up going off to one side, because then you're screwed. You'll have your car stuck on the ramp to one side, and if it's a good car, it won't be a good car anymore. Oh. And look at the strength. So, here we go. If I showed you guys my tripod right now, you'd laugh. I managed to leave my tripod at home when I was doing some video editing. I left the tripod at home. Silly me. I don't even know how much fuel is in this. Now, do I try and do a He-Man thing? Oh, goddamn! And I've just dropped the bloody ratchet. Oh. Well, the good news is there's nothing connected up top. Always the way, innit? Making a bloody mess. I don't know if this will come out very good. By the looks of it, I've got to now swing the fuel tank anti-clockwise. Next time I do this, I think I will take a different approach. It might be a tad too heavy for me to carry. Oh no, there we go. So, there we have the fuel tank. 2 places with the brake lines disconnect. Up here, I don't even know if you guys can see it. So here we've got one connection, and then the second one is just tucked behind where the rubber line goes. Whoops. Right, that's just crushed my gun. There we go. Not bad. Boing, boing. I'm sending my buddy a message. You might even see yourself on this video, bro. I was just saying to my buddy Scott, I am tapped because I'm just, yeah, I've got issues. Bye, Scott. I've got issues. I'm very much hyperactive at times, and then I dip, and then yeah, I should kind of try and keep the camera rolling. And I'll pull the drive shaft out this side, then I've got to pull out the ABS pump. Yeah, I've got to pull out the ABS pump after, and I believe that is everything. I think I've got everything I need for the 4-wheel drive. Phone is pinging away because I've just sent a picture of the subframe, the 4-wheel drive setup on the floor, to men like Peter, men like Ben, men like Scott, men like Dean. But yeah, I'm just happy to be making a progress. Blessing in disguise, I guess, really, with my engine blowing up, because I bought this car to do a 4-wheel drive conversion. Well, it was months ago now, and I just haven't got round to doing it. So now I'm gonna drop the car down lower, get that ABS pump off. I'm just gonna cut it, stick the hoses into a bottle, and then just double check all the parts, make sure I've got everything, and then that's it. The car's going to go back up in the air. I'll get a recovery truck in, back it in, put the car on the recovery truck, and then yeah, off she goes basically. Now I've got most of the parts that you will need for a 4-wheel drive setup laid out on the floor behind me. So I'll just go over some of the parts with you guys now. You obviously need the exhaust heat shield for the exhaust and the prop shaft. There's another piece at the back over there, which is a smaller piece. The prop shaft goes above that. You'll obviously need the prop shaft itself. That's in 2 pieces. You'll need both front drive shafts. You'll need the gearbox as well, but the gearbox isn't over here. That's over in the corner. Obviously, you need to remove the full subframe. You can do it as I've done it, so it's one full unit, or if you wanted to take it apart bit by bit, you can do that. This is just easier to move around and stuff. ABS pump. I'm not sure if it depends on what year the vehicle is, or if all conversions need the ABS pump as well. Obviously that's something that I'll look into further down the line. You also need the yaw sensor. I think it's called a yaw sensor, which is this thing here. This will sit near the center console or the armrest somewhere. ESP something or another. Obviously the wiring loom for the 2 fuel pumps, or the pump sender and stuff. You'll need the fuel tank itself. Obviously the difference is you've got this part in the middle where it actually goes over the prop shaft and exhaust, whereas on a standard Mark 5 or any other front wheel drive car, the tank goes the whole way along the bottom. I'll show you guys anyway when we get the Golf in, when we get the Golf stripped out. Obviously you've got to cut the boot floor in whichever vehicle it is. Depending on power wise, new clutch and flywheel for the four-wheel drive box, and the four-wheel drive box needs a very, very good cleanup because it is covered in crap. So down here it's covered in crap, so it needs a good old clean, little jet wash, little TFR on it. And as you can see guys, I've got engines upon engines for the TFSIs. This one is a complete engine, this is all good. So worst case I could just throw that in the Golf just to get around for now, but I'm not really too fussed. I can't remember what engine. Oh, is that my engine? No, my engine's on the stand. I can't remember what engine this came out of, or what car this engine came out of, but that is like, that's now a spares engine, and we've got another one tucked back there which is also a spares engine. So the good thing is, obviously specializing in the VAG cars and the TFSI Mark 5 platform, I've got so many parts around me, like doubles, triples, it gets me out of sticky situations on the occasion. Which is amazing. And yeah, unfortunately it doesn't stop me from blowing holes in engines, which is a little bit sad, but hey ho, we live and we learn. What can I say?